Captain's Log 2920. Locum 23 here. You're joining me for Picard, Episode 3, Rapid Fire Review, assuming you've already watched the prior episodes. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. This piece of resistance episode that left us with a lot more questions, but gave us a lot more answers. I like to go ahead and tote myself that I am 1-0 to a lot of other creators who right now have been like, that Romulan blood thing, come on, it's acidic. No, it's a cyanide capsule dummy, and I was right all along. Back in episode 1, when we first saw it happen, I called that out, and it's on my review. It will forever be in there, and long story short, I was right. So, going into this, let's go ahead and jump around. First of all, the rocks where Raffi lives are Easter egg, called the Vasquez Rocks. They are also nicknamed Kirk's Rocks. Why? When, if you ever watched the original Star Trek, Kirk was transported down to fight a Gorn by a Q-type entity. I forget the name of them, but they were supposed to fight to the death. Kirk, luckily, during some of the most horrific fight scenes we've ever seen, but fought this Gorn, and he beat it. He refused to kill it. He refused, even when told you would be killed in the whole 9 years. And finally, they were like, okay, we have judged you, and da-da-da-da. And they said had Kirk actually killed the Gorn, it would have turned out to be substantially worse for humanity, himself, and Starfleet. It was very interesting. Being in that test, kind of like a Q test that Picard himself ran into. But those rocks in this episode, if you think back, you've seen them throughout every single Star Trek series, anywhere from Enterprise to TNG, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, even a few movies like Star Trek Generations. These rocks are very legendary. They're included in a lot of filming, especially some of the new Star Trek film, the new movies. They were filmed at least once in those, on the cliffs and jumping off and everything else. And for me, it's more of a poetic irony or poetic license, I guess, is these rocks are something that when we first seen the rocks ever, like I said, Kirk and the Gorn, it was death, destruction, fighting, and the whole 9 yards. And as you think back to every time we've seen these rocks, there's always fighting, there's always something. But peace is slowly waning to these rocks. It's very interesting, isn't it? Kind of like a symbolic reference to now here we are with Raffi. She's sitting in her trailer, and she's peaceful. She's very peaceful. A lot of YouTube fellow creators have torn this apart and been like, how dare you? You're looking way too hard in this, fam, because those rocks are supposed to be on different planets in almost every single episode. You're looking way too hard into this. Way too hard. This is a nod. This is as simple as that. How exactly are you supposed to visit the rocks? Just being going, what, having a fight scene or something, going, oh, those rocks, I've seen those, those are the Vasquez rocks, like, shut up. Anyway, it was a nice little Easter egg, and there was peacefulness. There was nothing really going on. It was interesting how the old was meeting the new. We learned how Raffi came to be in Picard's life. She used to be an analytic person serving in Starfleet and the whole 9 yards, and Picard was the reason she got the job. Picard, by the way, still, even after the synthetics attacked Mars and the whole 9 yards, he went to Starfleet and he's like, we have to save them. Even though the synthetics now have been banned, they've been dismantled or destroyed, the whole 9 yards, we have to save the Romulans. And he put his rank, he put his commission on the line. Starfleet graciously accepted. And Raffi looked at him and she says, well, you've got another ace in the hole, you know, something you can pull. And he goes, that was it. He goes, I never thought that they would accept my resignation. I never thought. That was it. That was the ace in the hole. And I get it, because Starfleet, Picard had given his life to Starfleet, and they were like, bye. Bye. Now, let's think about this. This is a reference back to Picard's interview, that Starfleet is not Starfleet anymore. It's true. You know, Starfleet used to be an agency that someone, I mean, remember, how many episodes, how many movies have we seen? Someone's got a distress call. Where is it located? Let's find them. It could be a trap. Let's be prepared. Let's go in with yellow alert, shields up, but let's help these people. That's always been what Starfleet is always about, right? Wrong. Starfleet over the time has ended up changing. Their moral code has become more... Instead of a moral code, it's become this thing that you don't dare cross because there's barbed wire, chain link fence, a sniper, bulldogs, canines on the other side, constantly patrolling DMZ zone. Like, it's just horrific to even touch these rules now in the whole new years. But Starfleet, especially being run by a secret cabal, is something where it's just... There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. Something tells me we're going to get around to that reason eventually, but there's got to be a reason why the Romulans didn't want to save themselves. There's got to be a reason. There has got to be a reason, besides what I said in episode 1, that the Romulans were so paranoid about the outside of their, you know, their own little area that they were like, no, they'll destroy us, they'll do something, they'll use us, they'll you know, jail us, they'll do something. Moving on. I have 2 theories, but we'll get to that here in a second. 2 big theories, like I had in episode 1, and have proved right so far, is, so Soji is this girl who is the twin, okay? And something tells me Burce Maddox did this, or whoever designed these 2, with the sole intention of being opposites. There was Dodge, who's now dead, poetically like lore. And for all we know, we don't really know, but we do know. Or maybe there was B4 and Data. I don't know how they're exactly co-aligning these, but we'll see. But she is very much like Data. One, she's very intelligent, and she's able to speak to Romulan. She's able to speak to other, you know, Borg, especially in their natural tongue. And Hugh, wonderful to see him back. He was originally in Star Trek The Next Generation with, where they discovered him. He was a lone survivor of the Borg crash. They were going to warp him, upload a virus into him, and the whole 9 yards, and Picard was treating him like a piece of crap. Well, as Hugh discovered his humanity, he began to be human again. Picard, instead of treating him like he was the worst of himself, because when Picard was Locutus, he destroyed lives and whole yards, and that's all he thought the Borg were, was just killing machines. And finally he saw himself, a literal, you know, through the looking glass, through the mirror, whatnot, seeing this what he thought was a just kill machine. Oh, hey, there is a person under all of that. Now, understandably, that changed in the Star Trek. See, Star Trek has a little bit of hypocrisy, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But that changed in the future, which we'll get to. But Hugh, long story short, we saw also in another episode, which was Data and Lore. And Data and Lore, Hugh has always had comments towards them, like, you know, how bright they are, and how intelligent they are, and how they're superior to the Borg in every single way. And it's true. The only thing that Data and Lore and all those didn't have was humanity. We'll get to that here in a minute. So, Hugh is working very closely with Soji, very closely. Now, I don't think he's with the Romulans in this one. I think he's an unwitting, he's an executive, he's right underneath the head Romulan guy. I think he might be learning. Because he made a comment and he's like, well, aren't you a know-it-all? And how did you know that? And how did you do that? And Hugh was always very smart, though. So Hugh's watching this girl, he's looking, and if you look at a lot of his facial reactions, he's just like, I'm seeing something, he's up here and he's trying to pinpoint it, and all he needs is like a nudge right now. So I'm hoping that happens, but long story short, here's my theory. I think Hugh is going to end up being a good guy, I'm hoping. The Romulan, though, is falling in love with her, kind of. But he's playing his own game. Romulans always love to play their own games, but Romulans have also obviously changed a little. I'm wondering if perhaps there'll be some love triangle. Maybe he'll help her escape. Maybe he'll die. Maybe, you know, whatnot. And I'm not talking about Hugh. I'm talking about the Romulan. But I'm also wondering if Hugh will realize that it is a synthetic and be like, Maybe Picard will run into him, 7 and 9, something will cause this connection. Something will happen. And we will bring this Picard side of the story over to what's going on in this Borg cube, and we will finally be aware of what's fully transpiring and everything, and it'll answer a lot of questions, or it'll give us a hell of a lot more questions. With that being said, I feel like that's one theory that's going to happen. I also think that Soji does not realize. And think about this, and I'm going to try and explain this in the most layman's terms possible so people understand it. Remember that scene in Terminator 2? Where Arnold, does this with a knife and then pulls his hand back, I think because the people didn't believe he was Okay. She is completely opposite. It's kind of like having amnesia. Imagine if there were times where Data did forget who he was and whatnot. Imagine if she doesn't know. Because Hugh, throughout this, he goes, you're such a know-it-all, how did you know this, da-da-da. And she's just like, well, I read reports, I did a lot of reading, I've done a lot of studying. So clearly, she has this lifestyle. She has also this mother we've never met, we don't know, the whole 9 yards, who is guiding her through all this. And so she has this whole entire construct around her, which is emphasized. She has studied, she's worked hard, she's a hard worker, she's done everything and like, the only time she has free time is in the bedroom, and literally, if she isn't sleeping, she's having a little quickie, and then she's going to sleep. Besides that, she is constantly studying and constantly working on her craft and using this as much to her ability. So she's got this, she's very ignorant. Remember this, Data, being one of the brightest and fastest individuals and strongest individuals in the whole 9 yards and the whole entire Starfleet and the whole entire franchise we've ever met, was ignorant. He was stupid at certain things. Like, could you right now, could you sit here and question your humanity and go, maybe I'm smarter than a lot of these people? Like, a lot of these people drive around, they're like this, and they got their devices. I've questioned it. I'm like, what the hell? Everyone's walking around with their phone up their ass and their head literally there too, and everyone's so and it's like, oh my god, what the hell is going on, folks? And I'm like, do I even belong to this planet? Scotty, beam me the hell up! So with that being said, like, you gotta question this. Like, she hasn't made the connection. The only two that really know that she may or may not be some sort of hybrid or synthetic or something that's unaware. Remember, they already have said she is unaware of who she really is. She has not awakened. She has not connected those 2 points between the synthetic android side and the human side. She is blissfully unaware. Right now, she's running around as a human, not realizing that passively her neural net or positronic brain is working a million miles an hour, and she is smarter than she really looks. It may be once she awakens, 99% of her positronic brain suddenly lights up and she is new Data. I don't know how that works. No one truly knows. That is the inquisitiveness. That is the awesomeness of this series so far. It just makes me drool, salivate at the possibilities of what's going on. A lot of content creators that I watch and I subscribe to and the whole neighborhood, you guys are just gotta stop. Whether it be the Vasquez rocks and how upset you are about that, or just, how could it be a humanoid can have a positronic? I don't know, it's called science fiction, dude. These people are able to go around beyond warp 10, and you're sitting here crying about the fact that she may be half humanoid with a positronic brain. Get a grip, dude. It's called science fiction, and emphasizing on science and fiction. It's just, some of these creators really need to get a grip. I'm enjoying the series so far. So, going quickly through this, because I could sit here and talk about the scientific aspect of all this as much as I want, because that is what piques my interest, that is what I love, that is my passion. So, going back is the secret Romulan police. They go and they attack Picard on his own chateau. Very smart. Very smart. Picard was ready. Picard, clearly with the Tal Shiar 2 agents, he has his housekeepers, has always been ready. That dude was like James Bond meets I don't know who, Jason Bourne. He was ready with guns all over the place. And he's also got the 2 Tal Shiar agents. Now, these people were faster, they were stronger than the 2 Tal Shiar people, but they were, with everyone, working together, they were holding them back and beating them. However, the girl from the Daystrom Institute, who, here's another fan theory, is probably evil, or being somehow baited into, like, I know she was very upfront. She says, this admiral came to, the Daystrom Institute, she asked a bunch of questions, I answered them all truthfully, but she goes, the only part that she doesn't know is that I'm going to come with you. I don't know. That's really a flip of a coin in my mind. Is she, isn't she? Is she curious and wants to know if these are really synthetics now that I mean, when Picard initially went to her, she's like, oh, synthetic. No, what? Like, now, like, it might be the scientist in her, she's piqued, she's curious and whatnot, or it might be the fact that Starfleet's like, psst, hey, by the way, this is really a thing, and it might be she's peaked, and at the same time, Starfleet's, under her skin, or Starfleet might have something on her, or Starfleet might have promised her something. I don't know. All I know is, she's coming with us. So, luckily, which makes it even more curious, is she had this big disruptor. I don't know if she had picked it up from all the fighting that was going on, or whatnot, but here's this secret police running, and they're about to shoot one of them, maybe Picard, which is the main target, but maybe one of the Tal Shiar agents, I don't know. And she shoots him in the back, and she's like, she comes in like nervous Nelly, going, I think it was on stun? Like, Romulan disruptors don't have stun. Like, okay, alright, you need to calm down. Like, so... Picard luckily beats them with the help of the Tal Shiar agents. However, they were against the ringer and they were getting hurt. But Picard's pulling out little hand disruptor and everything, and everything. Picard was holding kind of his own for an old man. He was still healthy, but he was still holding his own against a couple of them. It was good to see that if Picard himself would have just been there alone, he would have got his ass whooped. If it would have been just one of the 2 Tal Shiar agents, they would have got their ass whooped. But as a team. The whole emphasis on Star Trek is a team. Remember that. Another thing a lot of people are trying to tear apart. With that being said, so we meet Rossi, which another Easter egg, is he has a mermaid tattoo. When he first walked in, I'm like, but it was a hologram. And he was very hello, how are you? Let's go. And it was just, oh, we are not putting up with this. That would have been my first... like, oh, hell no. But it was a holographic representation of him, but it was an EMH, and it was a couple other things. Clearly he has an AI holographic program that runs on his ship. It has free reign. But he has this mermaid tattoo. His ship name, if translated, is also mermaid as well, which goes back to sailors, ships, or captains going down with their ships. Picard, in a couple episodes, was always fascinated with the old-timey ships. They're going around without engines and all this other thing. He made references to it, and he's like, it's just peaceful, it's wonderful, just imagine that, it was invigorating. And Picard was always enthralled with them. And another nice little reference and nod was the one housekeeper said to him, she goes, you were never truly here. You always had one eye on the stars. True. And that's one of the reasons why I love Picard so much, is because they keep making references that to me it hits right here. Because I've never looked at this planet as a place I wanted to stay. It was a place that's your home, but it's a place you want to leave. You want to leave the nest. And for me, I want to leave the nest. I've always looked up the stars. I've always fascinated highly about science fiction and science and wanting to go and explore the great beyond. And if right now Elon Musk came to me and says, I want to send you to Mars, it's I don't care what probability. I want to send you to Mars and see if you can hold down the fort. There's no coming back. It's a one-way trip. You're gonna die. I'd do it. If you sent me off in a one of those things that put you to sleep, hyperbolic chambers, I'd do it. We're going to send you off. We're going to cast you asleep into the great unknown. Would you like to do it? And if you wake up on a planet, you can send out this beacon and we'll know. But this is one way try. I'd do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. I'd do it. I would graciously do it. I want to explore the stars. I want to explore out there. But anyway, that's just me. I think my cat's dying. As you're moving on, I don't know if you guys got to hear that. Anyway, it's just a fantastic series so far. I'm enjoying it. It's not mind-blowingly awesome. It leaves you a lot more questions than answers, and that's uncanny for Star Trek. It's very uncanny. But it's just so far I've enjoyed the ride, and I think a lot of people should just sit back, enjoy the ride. You know, stop it. Don't get on a roller coaster and then 20 seconds ago, this is building up speed, but it's not going the way I want. A lot of things, that's life. A lot of things are not going to go the way you want. Realize that. So we meet Rossi, and it's very symbolic that his ship is tattooed, and the ship and everything's mermaid, Picard. They at first, Rossi and Picard seemed very different, and Rossi even tried to fight it. And he tried to be like, well, I'm not you, or, you know, all this other thing, and he's trying to act like he's only for himself, he's a Ferengi, but at the same time, like, that just dissolved within, like, 5 seconds. And he's trying to put up this tough guy act in this front that is dissolving into, we know you're kind of like Picard, but more of a, like, fun, timey-wimey kind of Picard, but at the same time, like, you'll do what's right. And then he even made a reference to why he tried to help someone one time doing this, which is going to be wonderful to know about his past. Because he apparently was like, well, they're splattered on the ball. They ended up being splattered on the bulkhead. It's like, oh, well, I mean, I don't think Picard's going to be splattered on a bulkhead, but, I mean, he's probably going to die during this mission regardless, but it's going to be really sad. I might end up crying during that episode. Oh boy, please don't. So, with that being said, I'm really looking forward to, I've said I believe all my fan theories for now, so just to go through them again. I think Soji has that connection. She just needs that connection between, you know, her human and other side. For now, she's just a blissfully unaware, ignorant human. I don't know if Hugh will help us or not. I believe he might. I also believe he's out of the loop, but he may not be either. But he is under the Romulan guy that is knowing everything. But Hugh was always smarter than most of the other people around him, so he may, you know, also his Borg implants and everything, and they at least get to retain some of that. We'll see. Something tells me a lot of this is going to come full swing when Picard and his now small crew join him, and find, like, we're already in space. I love the engage, but something tells me that this is all going to come full swing when Picard learns about Soji being out there and knowing she's alive, and then also she's working on a Borg cube and all this other thing. Like, suddenly, because Rossi made this reference, he goes, I've been told you don't even know where you're going, and he's like, well, it's in the works. Like, like, we don't, but we do. But we don't. Like, give it 5 minutes in the show and we'll figure out where to go. Well, she's got a breadcrumb. We're going to the breadcrumb. Let's go engage. It's nice to have this. You know, it's kind of like a chaotic Star Trek where we're going to see. I would love to see. He's flying the ship. It looks like the one from Nemesis, but a lot smaller scale. I'm loving the paint job. And I want to see some space combat. I want to see some, like, real, like, combat in the show. We've seen a little here and there, but tidbits. And so far, with the flashbacks, we're done for the most part. With going back to Mars and Utopia Planitia. It was like just a quick little, boop, boop, this is where we've come, this is what we've seen, and engage the current episode. That was nice. However, the intro needs to be dumbed down a little. I believe the intro is a little too long, in my opinion. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I also, at the same time, believe it's a little bit too long. I don't know, I'm a person who kind of typically skips a lot of intros. Rarely do I watch an intro of a show. Even to the point after watching TNG 4 times minimum from start to finish, you get to the point where it's like, okay, it's a minute in, and you just hit that fast forward button. Like, you know, space, I love you, but at the same time, like, I've seen you, like, literally 800 times. No, I'm done, dog. Like, even the Flash and Arrow and everything, I typically would skip their intros. I'm Barry Allen, and no, you're not the fastest in the world. I'm skipping it. With that being said, if you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comment section below. Have you enjoyed the series so far? Keep in mind, because people are very weirded out like this, are like, well, it says it's on Amazon, but it's not. Internationally, it's available one day after it airs on CBS All Access. On Amazon Prime. However, if you're in with the United States, you are not able to see it. Sorry, you have to watch it on CBS All Access. So a lot of friends of mine have said, I refuse to pay for CBS All Access. I don't blame you. I even told them, I said, well, then either hold off or I can give you help towards watching the first 3 episodes, because it is good to me. It is good. And they were like, well, I want to go see it. I haven't watched the reviews yet, you know, the whole year. So I'm like, I got you. I got you, fam. I got you. So hopefully you guys have seen it. With that being said, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down description below, links to social media, Discord, if you'd like to support me and my content. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this show. If you have enjoyed these reviews, let me know. And yeah, let me know. That's about it. I don't believe I missed anything. I hope I didn't miss anything. I just wanted to do a kind of like a rapid fire. There's a lot more to break down. If we were to sit here, we might as well just play the whole episode and I break things down for you. So I just wanted to try and do as fast as possible while going back and breaking down the sciencey YMC, you know, for those who are like, and you don't get science, it's cool, I got you. Also breaking down the history of Star Trek, certain events, who, what, when, where, Easter eggs, all 9 yards. I give it to you wholeheartedly here. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video. Peace.